of a Vexilar. Simply put, no other sonar technology responds fast. FL12, you only have 2 control knobs to master, but yet you'll have amazing flexibility to use your FL12 both summer and winter. Now I'm going to walk you through the setting up of your FL12 for ice fishing. There's a separate section on this DVD that talks specifically about open water use, so you'll want to take full advantage of your FL12 for both summer and winter to make the most out of your investment. You can also learn more at www.vexilar.com. All right, let's get started.
Even before venturing out onto the lake, be sure you have a fully charged battery with good electrical connections. There's nothing worse than getting to your favorite spot only to find your flasher will not run due to a dead battery or bad connection. The #1 reason for unit failure is power supply problems, so don't let a dead battery ruin your day on the water. Vexilar offers several beam angle configurations in our exclusive IceDeucer transducer systems. Now your system could come with any of these. Whichever style you have, be sure your transducer is plugged in and tightened down. Also, check the cable for any cuts or breaks. Make sure your stopper is in place and that your float, if you intend to use it, is in good condition. The alternative to the float is the support eye bolt. This can be a handy option for thin ice conditions. Simply remove the float like this and set the stopper into the eye bolt. When you're not fishing, be sure to use your transducer nest to store your IceDeucer. This will keep it from being damaged during transport. The gain controls how much signal you see on the circular display. It does not affect how much power your flasher is putting out. Rather, it controls how much of the signal that bounces back to the transducer is amplified. Keep the gain control set low. Turn it up only when you need to. Generally, you'll want to set the gain by the appearance of your fishing lure, setting the gain so that your bait is shown as a steady green line. The range control sets the depth that the flasher will read to. There are 5 ranges available: 0 to 20 feet, 0 to 40 feet, 0 to 60 feet, 0 to 80 feet, and 0 to 200 feet. To determine the depth, simply match the color that the range knob is set to the corresponding color scale on the circular display. For example, if the range control is set to the yellow 20-foot setting, look to the yellow ring on the display. If the range knob is set at the orange 60-foot scale, look to the orange ring on the display. To read the 200-foot scale, you must multiply the reading shown on the yellow scale by 10.
Also found on the range control knob is the yellow 20-foot low power mode. This means when you're fishing in waters with lots of weeds or maybe even large schools of fish, you'll find that the lowest setting on the gain is simply not low enough to clearly understand the signals below. With the 20-foot low power mode, you can cut the output of the unit by 50% to make it easier to find the true bottom in weeds or to make it easier to find your bait within a school of fish. It just makes for a cleaner, easier to read display in super shallow water. Here's an example of a thick weed bed in normal mode, and here's what it looks like in low power mode.
All Vexilar flashers utilize a 3-color display system. The colors are designed to give you more information about the strength of the signals being displayed. Red represents the strongest of the return signals. Green represents the weakest of the return signals, and orange represents medium strength signals. Using this information, you can get a better understanding of the conditions below you. When a fish first comes into view of your flasher, it will be shown as a green color. This is because it's far away from you and thus appears as a weak signal. However, when the fish gets closer, the signal will get stronger. The color will turn from green to orange, then to red as it reaches the center of your transducer's cone.
Today, we're going to be fishing in 30 feet of water. So I'm first going to need to switch my range switch to the right, the normal power setting, and using the 20-foot range. This means I'm looking at the yellow ring along the dial. This yellow ring is used to tell me the depth of water that I'm in, But as you can see, the bottom doesn't show. So I'm going to have to go to the next range setting, in this case the red 40-foot setting. Now I'm looking at the red ring along the dial, and I can see I've got 30 feet of water right here. Now it's very important that you get into the habit of rubbing or wetting your transducer like this. This little habit will ensure your transducer will have good contact with the water and won't be weakened by snow, ice, or the buildup of junk on the face of the transducer. I even do it when I'm moving between holes, just to make sure that nothing builds up on the face of the transducer. Interference. This is a problem when you're fishing close to another sonar system outputting at 200 kilohertz. It doesn't make a difference which brand of sonar you use. The 10-step interference rejection found in your FL12 will knock out most of this crosstalk interference. That is what this center button is for. If you keep your gain as low as possible, you're less prone to pick up excess interference. Also, I should point out that only one unit needs to be adjusted to clear out the interference to both units. If you're fishing with several units in a small area, you'll have to find a setting that's good enough and be able to work around the small flashes of interference that come and go. Your FL12 is designed with the most advanced IR rejection system possible. I tell you what, I think I've given you a rundown of exactly how the unit works, but I'm ready to fish. So I tell you what, we've been looking at this hole, 30 feet of water, and I didn't see any fish down here. So I think it's time for us to move around a little bit and see if we can find some of these fish that might be sitting on a little bit different area. The nice thing about having this Vexilar with is that it's my eyes under the water. I can actually see the entire water column from top to bottom, and I know right away if there's fish there. So what I'm going to do is just simply walk from hole to hole and drop my transducer in to see if there's any fish present. There's really no reason for me to even wet a line if I don't see any fish down there. Nope, none there. Now, with a camera, you're only seeing a small portion of the water column, but with my Vexilar, I can actually see everything from top to bottom. Nope, still no fish there. Really would like to catch some of these nice panfish this afternoon. No, it's still not quite the right spot. Maybe this hole's going to be the ticket. Looks like it got just a little bit shallower here, and yep, there's some fish targets down there. That's exactly what we're looking for. I think this is going to be the spot where we're going to get some fish. I'm just going to put a little Eurolarve here on my jig. In fact, I'm even going to put two of them on here. We want to really get these fish excited about biting today. There we go. We're going to drop down. I saw that fish was at about 15 feet, and I see my jig here, and it looks like I've got the gain turned up a little too high. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. We're going to drop it down right on top of those fish targets, just above them. Since a fish sees up, we want to get right on top of it. Look at that. Here come a couple more. Oh, and there we go. Little bluegill. We want to let him go. But there's plenty more down there. Look at all the fish. Now I can't see my bait on the screen again, so I'm going to turn up the gain slightly. You can see the fish coming up towards it. There we go. Oh, this one's a little bit better. Still not exactly what we're looking for, though. Now, one of the nice things about this outfit that I'm using with a reel and a spinning rod is that I can easily drop my bait down through the water column, just pull the line off of my reel. I don't have to worry about it getting caught all over the ice if I was doing that hand over hand with one of the old-fashioned types of ice fishing outfits. And the other thing is, since I'm not using a slip bobber, I don't have to worry about it freezing, but I also don't have to pull up the fish hand over hand. I can simply reel them in very easily, either keep them or let them go. There we go. And I think I'll let this one go. I tell you what, it looks like there's a lot of fish down here, but the ones we've caught have been a little bit smaller. So I'm going to reel in, and I think maybe we'll have a better chance at finding some more fish in one of these other holes. And with my Vexilar, I can easily see if there's fish below me. Now, before I had my Vexilar, if I was stopping in a hole, I had no idea if there was any fish down there. And that's the thing. The Vexilar tells you if there's fish there, or more importantly, if there's not, so you can move on to another area. Now, it looks like I've got some targets here down near the bottom. This might be a fish sitting right off of the bottom. We'll drop down and see if maybe we can get it to bite, or if there's any other fish in the area that might come in. I see my bait going down here. I'm going to stop it right above that target, right there. I've got it as a solid green line. See if we can get that fish to move towards my bait. Here it comes. It's a solid red line. That's a good fish. See if we can get it to bite. I'm going to move my bait up just a little bit, see if I can get it to chase it up and bite it. That fish doesn't seem interested in my bait, but you know what? We've got all these targets down here. We don't need to spend any more time on that fish. That's the great thing about this unit. I know exactly what's going on beneath me. Since that fish isn't interested, I'm sure there are some others down here that are. Oh, and there we go. Now, this isn't exactly what we were looking for. We're looking for a crappie, but you see what I'm talking about. I know which fish are ready to eat my bait, which ones are active, and which ones I should pass up on. Okay, we're going to drop the bait down, and you're going to see it here on the display shortly. There it is, right up at the top. And every time it's the same thing. I'm going to watch my bait go down, and we're going to go past these fish, see if there's some bigger ones sitting down underneath. And look at all the fish. These are all fish down there. Boy, there's just a pile of them. I'm sure they're all fighting to get to my bait. That's a better fish. We dropped through those smaller fish, and I think we finally found the one that we're looking at. Oh yeah, there's the nice one we've been looking for. Yeah, we dropped through those smaller fish to find the bigger crappie. I tell you what, folks, without my FL12, I never would have caught this fish. I won't go.
And good connections. Transducer. Make sure your transducer is in good condition and properly connected. Gain. Keep the gain low. Only turn the gain up when you need to. Range. Always use the shallowest range you can for the best resolution.